Fans of The Breakfast Club are taking to social media in droves to call for the morning show to get canceled. One Twitter user states, "It's time The Breakfast Club was called out and canceled for the lack of accountability and journalism. This show isn't genuinely for black people. It promotes propaganda and lacks professionalism." The mass hysteria and backlash The Breakfast Club is currently receiving all stems from this recent interview they just did.
DJ Envy, just hilarious. Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Oh, they're not going to like this one.
We have Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Welcome.
Hello.
The Breakfast Club has a huge problem on their hands. You see, they want to do more political interviews, but literally none of the hosts are equipped to talk politics or have a conversation with these political figureheads. So what we see when it comes to these interviews they do with these political figures is it either goes two ways, all right? They either go in with a pre-written agenda of going super hard on this political figure for whatever reason, but they just end up looking stupid because they don't have the wits to really battle the political figure they're choosing to go hard at. And they just come out of the interaction looking stupid, you know, like the Larry Elder interview.
Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake-up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you you got to think a certain kind of way? I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
Or they go the opposite direction and conduct a real softball interview. Now, there's really only two reasons they will conduct a real softball interview. The first reason is it's a Democrat that comes on and, you know, the Democrat fits their agenda, so they lay over and just let the Democrats spew talking points unmatched and unchallenged. Or it's a conservative-minded political figure that comes into the Breakfast Club, but they understand from the door that they don't have the intelligence or the wits to match or combat or debate the person they're talking to, so they just submit from the door and just lay over and let that political figurehead, bro, roll them over and speak whatever they want to speak uncontested. This is evident because whenever a conservative voice comes on the platform that their audience expects them to debate with or give pushback on, they usually bring an outsider to come in, sort of like a parent guardian, right, to watch them and make sure they don't look like fools. And this person they bring in is the person that offers up the debate while the Breakfast Club just sort of sits there and moderates on their own show, which is kind of weird, right? They did it with Larry Elder. They brought in some lawyer chick, and her job was to pretty much, you know, rebuttal Larry Elder and debate with him because they believed they didn't have the wits to do so.
And now we act as if Barack Obama never even got elected. And we're still talking about systemic racism. It's not fair. It's wrong. And you're discouraging black people from working hard. 1990s.
Okay. Mr. Elder, quick question. Let's just remove the word racism, since that seems to be a word that triggers, you know, a conversation down the water hole. Let's just focus on the word system.
So it looks like they learned their lesson from the Larry Elder interview, and with the Candace Owens interview, they sort of laid down and submitted from the door, right? They didn't really bring anybody on to debate Candace Owens. It sort of just let Candace Owens spew off her talking points uncontested. Now, during this interview, Candace Owens was spitting. You know, she laid down a lot of great points.
This basically describes welfarism, right? Like, despite the fact that there's been trillions of dollars since the establishment of welfare, Black Americans are poorer today than we were before it. People don't know this, but during the time of Jim Crow, before welfare was established in the 1950s, Black Americans were actually outpacing white Americans in this country in terms of economic growth. And the reason for that was because our families were together. Like, we had good values. The government only wants to give you the bare minimum. But where's the rest of the money? Where is it going? They sign these bills making you think that this money is going to you. It's not. They are stealing from the American people. And you look at your congressman, whoever it is that you guys sent down to DC, and you realize that they're all just puppets. I feel like we're watching a performance, you know, and who can say the most outrageous thing. You know, the Republicans don't want to sign this because they want, you know, slavery and they want you back in change. You know, the Democrats don't want to sign this because they want grandma to die. Whatever it is, you're watching just to me, it's a play.
The funny thing is that Larry Elder made this similar point during their interview, but they gave Larry Elder so much pushback because somebody who they believe was more competent to debate Larry Elder was there. So they felt confident in pushing back. But when Candace Owens made the point, because I guess a babysitter wasn't there for them, they really didn't give no pushback, and she just, got it off, which, I mean, I'm glad that they didn't try to push back and make themselves look stupid because she's telling the truth. It's hard to really combat what she's saying, bruh. All right, just some good, strong core family values, bruh, is at the root of the American dream. It solves a lot of these issues we're battling, in Black America, bruh. It solves like the crime issues, it solves the lack of education, it solves having kids out of wedlock. Just good, strong family values, bro, is at the root of a lot of these things. It's the solution for a lot of what we're dealing with. So she's telling the truth. Now, they asked Candace Owens the good old Uncle Tom question, the same question they asked Larry Elder, but Larry Elder destroyed them, bro, right? Bro, he flipped it when they asked him that. Now, Candace Owens also had a great rebuttal to them asking her if she's an Uncle Tom or how she feels about being called an Uncle Tom.
But yeah, and then I realized that actually I've always been a conservative. I just didn't know it. And economically speaking, of course, the conservative arguments make the most sense.
Does that bother you that people call you an Uncle Tom?
No, not at all. First off, because if they read the book, Uncle Tom was the hero. But also because I get it. How can I fault people for something that I would have engaged in for the majority of my life? I thought the same thing about Black conservatives. Like, I thought it was this betrayal, but I never actually understood it. It was just an emotional response. And I think that kind of is, if you come out of the public school system, I can't imagine how you could be a Black conservative when just the way that they even tell us our own history is just not true,
Uncle Tom is the most misused word, bruh, in the Black community, bruh. Essentially, Uncle Tom means in 2024 any opinion that goes against the status quo of Black Twitter, right? So if you don't believe that Biden is amazing, well, use an Uncle Tom, right? If you don't believe that the welfare system is perfect, well, use an Uncle Tom, bruh. Like, being called an Uncle Tom in 2024 at this point shouldn't mean a goddamn thing to you. Now, this is when an interview takes just an embarrassing, buffoonish turn. They then, after asking her, how she feels about being called an Uncle Tom, they then decides to test her Blackness by putting her through a Black quiz.
We have a few questions for you, just a few, just to.
Where are the questions coming from?
These are Black quiz questions. So, where did MLK deliver his famous "I Have a Dream" speech?
Oh, in Washington, D.C.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
Okay, and yeah. How many fights did Will Smith get into before his mom got scared?
Ooh, good question.
This is why Black folks don't get taken seriously. They've brought on one of the most important political minds in the 21st century, and they decided to ask her questions in regards to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, come on, bro. Like, what type of clown show is this? So Candace Owens were asked, how many fights Will Smith got in reference to the theme song of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Now, Candace Owens knocks it out the park by literally just rapping back, like the theme song.
Candace, come on.
Hold on.
She's gonna sing it.
West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spend most of my days.
Okay.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool and all, shooting some b-ball outside of the school. When a couple of guys, they were up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight.
Y'all didn't think she knew that one. Y'all didn't think she knew that one.
It was just one.
Y'all didn't think she knew that one.
It was a little one.
Apparently, Candace Owens being able to recite the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song was enough to gain their validation. But clearly, people who go to the Breakfast Club for their political opinions wasn't feeling this interview, and they thought it was embarrassing, it was buffoonish, and it lacked journalism. They felt as if they let Candace Owens off the hook.
So you trying to tell me that all Candace Owens had to do is show up for an interview on The Breakfast Club and sing the theme song for the Fresh Prince for her to be invited back to the cookout? Mind you, this is the same woman who said BLM and that George Floyd is not a martyr when nobody even called him that. We just said that he doesn't deserve to die. We don't care about his past. It ain't about where he was or where the he was doing. It's about the fact that that black man deserved to live. She keeps repeating the same rehearsed talking points. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago under Donald Trump? Absolutely. I'm doing way better under Biden than I ever did under damn Trump.
Candace Owens' George Floyd era is one of the black marks on her political career that even I can't get behind, because it did come off as just cruel. Now, I do understand the stance that Candace Owens and other black conservatives were taking in terms of how come black folks only come together and march in solidarity when it comes to representing the worst of our communities, right? See, we will march and protest when a criminal gets shot by the police. However, we don't march and protest in solidarity when one of those thugs, stray bullets, hit a 10-year-old kid while they are playing at the park. we're silenced. We have nothing to say about that, right? You know, or we don't march and protest when it comes to giving those babies in the hood, you know, a chance at a prosperous life. So I do understand that. And you know, I do understand the other take of, it seems real suspicious and non-coincidental that these police shooting incidents get amplified right around the election. And it feels as if they're being amplified by the media. Whenever a black man gets shot, let's say, you know, it's 2 years before an election, you know, it's somewhat talked about, but it's not really amplified. But if a black man gets shot, let's say during the election process, it's amplified. It's like plastered all across America on all media outlets. And it seems intentional to sway black folks into the grips of Democrats. That's what it seems. I don't know if it's true or not. Do not challenge me on that, bro. I'm just letting you guys know what my opinion is, all right? So I do understand that point, but yeah, bro, like having, you know, a stance that cruel on George Floyd is like, why, you know? Now, Ebro, you know, who's also like a strong voice in black media, he had this to say about Joe Budden and Charlamagne the God in the Breakfast Club interviewing Candace Owens.
When Joe Budden took the interview, I left a comment. I said, bro, if you're going to grift hard. Because I know what it was for y'all. He want them Patreon dollars. He want all that. But that's the game. There is no integrity. It's what's going to get clicks.
That's right.
Her role is to pull people who are unaware, uninformed, closer to the conservative voting. Which, by the way, I have no problem if you want to vote conservative. I keep telling y'all that. Like, I don't care. I think you're an idiot. I think you're uninformed. I think you're short-sighted. And if you're black, I think you're comfortable cozying up to white supremacy in a way that I'm not comfortable with. And because they know you will not remember where she was at on George Floyd. You will not remember where she was at on Breonna Taylor. You just won't. But now that she's sitting up there with Charlamagne, DJ Envy, and Jess, hilarious, it's all good. And now we're supposed to get cozy as they giggle about relationships.
Candace Owens takes on George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, I can't really get behind or defend. Again, I do believe those are one of the black marks on her political career. But saying that black folks who are conservative is dumb or you don't understand why, bro, black folks, we're conservative by nature. Like, the black church literally shaped black culture. like the black church is conservative, right? The black church, you know, don't believe in homosexuality. The black church, you know, believes in strong family values. You know, the black church don't really trust the government. Bro, black folks' history in America would tell you don't trust the government. So why will black folks be pro, you know, more government intervention policies, right? So just black folks in general in our history in America, we're conservative by nature. However, we are brainwashed into believing, you know, that liberal policies benefit us. So I don't think black folks who vote conservative are dumb or misinformed or Uncle Toms. No, you know, black folks who roll down a conservative path, bruh, they're just true to themselves because, you know, the black, you know, like black culture is conservative. The black experience is conservative, you know? Now, Ebro did say something that I believe was really laughable. He states that the only reason the Breakfast Club gets a lot of views because they're lit is because they're pro the agenda and they fall in line. Now, mind you, this is coming from a dude who literally is like in charge of a whole department at Apple Music. Nobody has more reach than Ebro Darden. So
reason they have a lot of reach is because they are willing to do this tap dance. I maintain those willing to dance the hardest, tap dance for massa the hardest, will always be given more platform and more outlet.
I do believe if you are willing to fall in line, you will be rewarded with more reach. But I don't think Ebro can make that particular argument because Ebro has been given a lot of power in media and a lot of reach. So if that's the case, Ebro, then shouldn't we question why you have a lot of reach? Shouldn't we question why you are in charge of an entire department at a multi-billion-dollar company or two multi-billion-dollar company? Right? You are in charge at Hot 97, and you're also in charge at Apple Music. Shouldn't we question that as well? You know, it seems like player hating, man. But y'all let me know in the comment section What do you guys think about this, all right? Do you guys believe the Breakfast Club and the backlash is warranted? Or you guys believe your people are soft and they should be able to interview Candace Owens even if they don't have the wits to, contest her or give any pushback? They should be able to just interview somebody and hear them out. Let me know in the comment section, right, how you feel about this, man. And if you're still watching, click on this video right here to find out how clout chasing on TikTok got this man deported. Click on this video here to find out what I'm talking about. Out of here, folks. Peace.